wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! I'm back. Miss me?
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
And welcome back, folks, to WrestleRant Radio on EC Radio. I'm your host of the most, Bleacher Report featured columnist Graham GSM Matthews. We are only 5 days away from one of WWE's premier pay-per-views, Survivor Series. We're breaking it down here today. We've got predictions, picks, previews, and much, much more, plus a review of Raw with Grumpy Cat. What a huge star, dude. Better than Shaq, better than Al Sharpton, best guest host they've ever had in Raw history. But I am joined by the illustrious RJ here today. How you doing, RJ?
Doing good tonight.
Also, we've got Mike Yoder, who has been on here on the show before, an Endicott alumni. Mike, how's it going tonight?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. We've got Mike on here tonight, like I said before, to run down our Survivor Series predictions for this Sunday. We've got Team Cena, Team Authority. It's a big matchup. Everything else I couldn't care less about. They actually just added a new matchup to the card. It's Team Natalya versus Team Paige in a traditional 5-on-5 elimination match. So it's something, it's a time filler, but, and someone else tweeted me before, I don't know what truth there is to this, but I guess the main event on that show, Team Cena and Team Authority, is going to be 45 minutes long. I don't know about a 45-minute Survivor Series match, but I guess only time will tell. They'll probably throw in an in-ring segment here or there. But we had Monday Night Raw last night. A couple good things here and there. The majority of the show kind of building towards Team Cena versus Team Authority on Sunday night. But we were talking about this before we went live. Erick Rowan, I mean, it's kind of weird to kick off the show talking about this, but it was the biggest question mark coming out of the show. Not for positive, not for negative, but Erick Rowan is going to be a part of Team Cena, replacing Sheamus, who was supposed to be a part of the team, injured last night in storyline, of course. Erick Rowan, the same guy that was stalking Renee Young last week, in a segment with Grumpy Cat, as you noted before, RJ. So, RJ, I gotta ask you, is this a smart move by WWE to put Erick Rowan in the main event of a pay-per-view? People aren't even paying for it. It's a free per-view come Sunday because it's on the WWE Network for free, not for us. We're still paying $9.90 fucking $9. But anyway, though, what are your thoughts on Erick Rowan joining Team Cena come Survivor Series?
At first I thought it was gonna be Cesaro. I got so happy. I marked out. I was like, oh my god, Cesaro's gonna go face. Yeah, exactly. Then they kind of like screwed that, but I don't know. I guess it's something. I don't know. Maybe they want to showcase Erick Rowan more in a singles big match. Like, instead of having him job out useless talent, why not put him in a main event of a pay-per-view? Maybe he has more than we've seen in a singles run. We've only seen him in a tag team duo with Luke Harper. But I think if they do have the match 45 minutes, maybe that'll give guys more time to work during the match. Like, usually sometimes in the traditional tag match, they have someone eliminated in like 5 seconds.
Yep.
And it kind of like ruins like their momentum. Maybe if it's longer, then they can have more action and just, I don't know. I don't think it's a wrong move to make, because then they can just have him and Harper kind of feud a little bit. But now that he has a title, I don't know if you could do that. But it's something. It's new. I don't know how big of a face Erick Rowan really is, but why not let the guy see what he has? If he fails, he fails. If he succeeds, he succeeds. It's a free pay-per-view. It's nothing they can really. It's nothing they can't really lose here, so why not give the guy a chance and see what he has?
We were talking about last week how Erick Rowan is like this generation's version of Snitsky, Vasira, who else? Oh, and Festus, too. Festus, yeah. And then he's main eventing a pay-per-view. I don't know any pay-per-view that Gene Snitsky main evented.
He had some good feuds.
He had some good feuds, like with Kane and stuff, yeah, but I mean.
Yeah, but it's not like he's main eventing, it's Erick Rowan versus Luke Harper. He's just in the match.
It's a 10-man match, exactly. But yeah, that brings me to my next question. We'll talk about this in a minute after we talk about Erick Rowan. But Luke Harper, the new Intercontinental Champion, we'll talk about the whole Bray Wyatt thing in a second. But yeah, I'm interested to see whether that transitions into a feud between the two going into TLC, or if it's just kind of a one-off thing between the two former teammates, because they never really split up. I mean, when the Wyatt family went their separate ways, they went their separate ways. They didn't, like, turn on each other or anything like that. So I'm interested to see how that develops, or maybe even Erick Rowan's a plant or something like that. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But, Mike, your thoughts on Erick Rowan joining Team Cena?
I'm with you guys. I think, it was a nice little swerve. It definitely caught me by surprise. I think it opens up, a few feuds. I think, if they continue with Harper and Ziggler after Survivor Series, that would be great. But if they go, Rowan and Ziggler with Rowan and versus Harper, I think that's a nice little powerhouse versus powerhouse matchup. So I do like it. Gives him something to do, like RJ said, instead of, just jobbing out to people. Gives him an opportunity to show what he's got, in the singles competition. The one thing, you guys kind of just hit on it that I don't like, and I kind of hope that they stray away from it. I really don't like the whole, mentally handicapped, / slow, big guy gimmick, like Festus or Fitzy, when these guys basically play dumb. So I hope they kind of hope they go away from that. But, I'm all for it. I'm all for him being on Team Cena.
I don't think Erick Rowan's terrible, and we've talked about this before. Of the Wyatt family, he was the worst one, obviously. It's not saying much because Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper are both great. But of the three, he was the weakest, obviously. But he's not terrible in the ring, though, so I think he can be better. I know Gene Snitsky was okay in the ring, too, but I don't know. Erick Rowan's, I don't know. You were right on the money when you said that he was like this generation's Gene Snitsky, but I don't know if he's going to have any potential. I'm glad to see that they're actually trying to push the guy. If he fails, then you can, go back to pushing him
like the same thing they did with Snitsky. They kind of pushed him a little bit, and once he started failing, they dropped him. Same with Heidenreich, too.
Exactly.
Heidenreich's kind of like the same thing.
When people don't care, then they're like, okay, well, we won't push you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So
we'll see about that.
So I think I'm pretty sure, correct me if you guys know what you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm pretty sure Rowan, he's just started wrestling in the past few years. Do you guys know about that or not?
I think he was on the.
I'm pretty sure he has no really.
Yeah, I think he came straight from Developmental. I don't think he had any wrestling background before that.
I heard someone mention that he was on the independent scene somewhere. I don't know if that was over in Europe or whatever. I think he might have some experience.
I swear I looked one time because I want to see where him and
Harper's
through the independents. I think
he was through Ring of Honor. Yeah.
I want to say Erick Rowan was just. He had an indie run. He had an indie run from 2007 to 2011 in Japan. Then he went to FCW. And then NXT. So.
Yeah, so he does have some indie experience. He's not as seasoned as Luke Harper, but
because I know that Harper, he's a big indie wrestler before. And it's actually funny. Only before it came to WWE or NXT and WWE. If you go on YouTube and you look up CM Punk versus Dean Ambrose, back in 2011, Punk actually fought Ambrose at FCW. And Erick Rowan is actually a security guard. He's not a character or anything. He's actually just a security guard. So I was wondering if he had any experience with it.
No, yeah, he definitely comes off as a developmental guy because he hasn't really been. He's not great in the ring, and he has come. I don't want to say he's come far in the last year and a half since he came to the main roster, but yeah, even going like you just said, Mike. Going back and watching old clips, not even of NXT, but of FCW. It's crazy how many people that you see on FCW TV either became big stars in WWE or they just disappeared. You have no idea who they are. I think 75% of the roster right now is FCW talent. Yeah, you take away the Cena and Randy Orton. They're OVW, but a majority of the guys.
Sandow was pretty big in FCW, right?
So was Sheamus. Yeah.
Yeah, Sheamus, Sandow, Cesaro for a while, Ziggler. Obviously, he was
Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, all them.
Leaky or something.
Yeah,
Leaky. Yeah. There's a match on YouTube pitting Ambrose, Rollins, and Leaky. Yeah. So we'll see that as a WrestleMania main event.
I've never seen it. I heard it's pretty good though.
Yeah, it's just crazy because it was 2 years ago today. The Shield made their debut at Survivor Series, so kind of going full circle. It's crazy. But back on the topic of Erick Rowan. Yeah, I do think it was a nice twist. I heard the music, I'm like, holy crap, they're adding Erick Rowan. But like RJ just mentioned before, I think it would have been cool if we got Cesaro. I was kind of hoping for that. Maybe Cesaro plays a role in Sunday's matchup. I have no idea. I thought if there was any time they were going to try to push Cesaro, it would have been in the fall when guys like Lesnar and Jericho and RVD were gone. But they haven't really done that. They've given him title shot after title shot. But he hasn't won any gold at all. So I'm interested to see what they do with Cesaro going forward. But hopefully they can involve him in
the whole Cesaro thing at the end confused me because, like, I don't know, he just made him look like a fool. Cause it was like he sided with the authorities, but he's not on Team Authority. It's like, what?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like, he shook Triple H's hand, but when they all started brawling,
he wasn't there. I was like, "Where's Cesaro?" He's like, "What the fuck? Did he go through the crowd? And like, what happened?"
It was nuts, and I don't know if Graham. I don't know if you tweeted this. Somebody that I follow that is big into wrestling tweeted this a few weeks ago, and maybe you guys have talked about it before. But it drives me insane from a logic point of view that, with his job on the line and his being a wrestler and everything, why Triple H is not on Team Authority. You know, if your job is on the line, why would you not play? You know, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I've heard a few people talk about that, and we'll talk about that right now because we haven't really talked about it here on the show much. But I can definitely see your point. I can see everyone's point in that Triple H should be on his own team. It's one of the big 4 pay-per-views. He hasn't wrestled since Payback, I think, when he was facing the Shield. I think that was the last time. And the last singles match he had was at WrestleMania. So he hasn't had a match in a while. So it would have made sense for him.
Just from a case, I don't even know how to say it.
Kayfabe point of view. No, that makes sense. No, yeah, it absolutely makes sense. I think from a kayfabe point of view, he should be on his own team instead of, I think, Triple H leading his own team against John Cena. It would make more sense because he wants to ensure that his job is kept. But in from a non-storyline point of view, I guess what they're trying to do, and I endorse this, is that Seth Rollins are trying to position him as the number 1 guy. That's why he's the captain of the team and not Triple H. But I mean, even you take that away, I mean, Triple H and Stephanie have been the focus of this entire feud. So that doesn't really change much, though. Yeah, I think Triple H should have been on the team. Maybe they didn't want him to have him get pinned, but that's not an argument because he got pinned in 3 pay-per-views in a row earlier this year. So yeah, it's a good argument. I don't know why he's not on the team. He should have been, but he'll probably have some sort of he'll play probably some sort of factor in the matchup, as I'm sure Stephanie will, and maybe because Lana, you saw the graphic of Team Authority. There's Triple H, there's Stephanie, there's Lana, there's Joey Mercury, there's Noble, and that's not not including the 5 other people on the team. So they have so many people at ringside come Sunday. It's crazy. But no, yeah, you make an interesting point. What about you, RJ? Do you think Triple H should have been on Team Authority?
I think it makes sense, but like you said, they're kind of trying to push Seth Rollins as the number 1 guy, so why not make him the captain of the Authority team, who they've been pretty much backing up the whole summer into this point of time?
Yeah. Like I was saying before, Triple H, regardless of whether he's the captain or not, he's still the focus of it, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But I do like the idea of Rollins being involved in the matchup, because if it's going to come down, if let's say Team Cena wins, if it's going to come down to 1 guy, or if Team Authority wins, it should be Rollins. It shouldn't be Triple H, and Triple H is going to get eliminated early, so it might have been better that they kept him out. But yeah, from a kayfabe point of view, from a storyline point of view, he absolutely should have been involved. If I'm Triple H, I want to keep my job, I would involve myself in the contest. But kind of transitioning from Erick Rowan going to Luke Harper now, the new Intercontinental Champion after last night's show, winning the IC title from Dolph Ziggler. Kind of a shocker. The feud started all of a week ago. Did you see the IC title match on SmackDown last week? No, it was a great match between Cesaro, Kid, and Ziggler. Definitely go back and check it out. But last night's IC title match I thought was pretty good. We were talking about before Harper and Rowan at TLC. I'm thinking they do Harper and Ziggler again. I don't know why they would move away from that too quickly, but we'll have to wait and see. But we do have a new Intercontinental Champion. Michael, I'll ask you first. Do you think putting the title on Luke Harper this so soon in his singles career will benefit him, or do you think it will hinder him in the long run?
Yeah, that's right now. That's a very tough question. Right now, I guess it's one of those we'll have to wait and see. I am shocked, and you talked about this last night on Twitter, how it is shocking. I would have bet my entire life savings that Bray Wyatt would have had a championship before Luke Harper. So it really is, it is shocking. So, yeah, but really, basically, that's it. I was shocked, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, same. I mean, we were talking about this before and how Luke Harper and even Erick Rowan was getting more TV time than Bray Wyatt last week on Raw. And now both guys, not even that aside, too. I mean, Luke Harper won singles gold before Bray Wyatt did. Not only that, but both members of the Wyatt family, not including Bray Wyatt, are in the main event of the pay-per-view. Someone tried to make the argument to me that he's got a consolation prize in the feud with Dean Ambrose. That's fun and all. And it's been a good feud over on SmackDown. And they did some nice furthering of it last night on Raw. But for the most part, though, Luke Harper and Erick Rowan have been the key players in the breakup of the Wyatt family, not Bray Wyatt. So I want to ask you, RJ, because I know you were a little bit disappointed after I tweeted that as well, and you said, I was thinking the same thing. Your thoughts on Luke Harper winning singled gold before your guy Bray Wyatt? I
was so shocked. I was like, I just don't know how Bray Wyatt was so hot and could have had the title put on him at any point. Instead, they haven't done anything really with him much after the Cena feud. The Ambrose feud's kind of getting a little bit better. Obviously, not a lot of people watch SmackDown, but the SmackDown stuff looks like it's been pretty good. But the way that Luke Harper won, if he won, I just think, the interference at first, I thought he was going to, squash him. They actually had a good match.
That's what I thought, too, yeah.
They actually did have a really good match, but I'm just Luke Harper has done nothing to deserve an Intercontinental Championship match at all. I guess maybe, I don't know. I think Bray Wyatt should have had an Intercontinental. I think after his feud with Cena, he should have went for the Intercontinental belt, but obviously I'm not creative in booking matches, but this guy needs a title on him eventually. He can't just go off of... He's not as hot as he used to be, so he can't just go off his promos and vignettes and stuff like that to keep the crowd interested. I think giving him the strap...
Now, I have a question for you guys. Do you think... I want to say... So, do you think that they think that Bray Wyatt is above the IC title? Because, when you think about it, even before Cena, he was in main event storylines with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. I think you have to go back to Kane to really look at his last, quote-unquote mid-card feud. So do you think that they view him kind of above the IC title?
I think they might. I think the WWE values him more than the IC title, but I think the crowd doesn't. I think since was so hot and then he's got so cold recently that maybe a title,
John Cena.
Exactly. Then maybe a title would heat him back up in the fans' view. Then, if anything, even if he was main event, they'd just he'd still be the IC champion, but being a main event feud. If it was Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose with IC title, it would make it a little more interesting.
A little bit,
Instead, it's just them on I think that he needs a title eventually to make him to the point of how the crowd used to see him as an actual threat. If he's fighting main event guys but not winning, it kind of defeats the purpose. I feel like the crowd hasn't been so far behind him once he came back, so they're all pissed about the whole hologram and all that stuff. I didn't think it was that bad, but it is what it is. So I hope something comes out of the whole Bray Wyatt character. Hopefully they don't let him become a jobber on Superstars. I think he's one of the better talents that they've had in the last couple of years, and hopefully they do something with him.
Could I see him as a world champion?
Yes.
Probably.
I could see it.
But the thing is, like you said before, I think right now they can't give him the world title after all the damage that they've done to the character. I think giving him that IC title, maybe not more so the US title, that's kind of involved with Rusev right now. I don't know how you work Wyatt into that.
The thing is, I can't see him winning the title as long as Lesnar has it because they just wouldn't make any sense.
Oh, no,
not
right now, yeah.
I think after, if it is Roman Reigns that beats Lesnar, I could see maybe Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Then maybe Reigns versus Wyatt, or Wyatt. If Rollins wins, maybe Wyatt goes face, fights him. I think those guys, all those guys can actually have good matches come out, like Reigns, Wyatt, Rollins, and Ambrose. I think that they're the younger generation obviously coming up, and I think that through the last couple of years we haven't really seen a lot of breakout stars. Pretty much it was Sheamus pretty much the last 4 to 5 years that really came
aside from the Shield.
Aside from the Shield, from the guys coming up from NXT and stuff, the only guy really broke out was Sheamus. They kind of pushed him a little too fast, but
yeah, it was the same thing with Del Rio and Swagger and all those guys.
I think that this talent pool that they have right now is kind of is very successful right now in the WWE, and I think that guys like Cesaro too, they're just guys that they really don't have too much direction with right now, but they have a promising future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have a very talented roster, and they're building some of these guys up the right way. In Rusev, not more so why they've gone back and forth on that character, but all members of the Shield in the 2 years that they've been in the WWE to the day, they've booked them perfectly, so I'm glad by that, but they need to do more than that. They can't build a company around only 3 guys, so hopefully they can continue on the right path with guys like Wyatt and Rusev, and hopefully resurrect the career of Cesaro, but I mentioned this last week, but I would not be totally opposed to a Harper-Wyatt match at WrestleMania. Do you think that if Harper holds that title for the foreseeable future, that you could see that happening, RJ? A Harper versus Wyatt match for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania? And what else do you do with Wyatt if you don't do that?
You don't know.
Anything could change. I mean, yeah.
I don't think exactly. I don't think anything can change with Wyatt. I think he's a character that they can. You don't know what's gonna happen because you're like, all right, what's gonna do next? Then that happens, and that happens. I don't know. I feel like he was after the scene, he was kind of just floating in the pond, just wondering what was gonna happen. But I don't know. I could see it, but like Mike was saying, I think WWE sees him more than the mid card guy. I think they see him in the main event picture, like he had the whole winner last year going into WrestleMania. But if anything, maybe because I don't know who else he could wrestle at WrestleMania right now. Maybe Bryan if he's back, because they had a really good match at Royal Rumble. But I guess
I want to see that feud come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think he has feuds with guys that don't need a title around it, but he needs the title to be credible. So it's up to management to see what they do. Maybe if the crowd really isn't starting to come behind him more, maybe they give him a strap and try to hopefully get the crowd behind him again. I love Wyatt, so I like the character, his wrestling ability, and I love his promos too. So
yeah, he's got the full package. Yeah.
Hopefully they turn him around and not put him back to Husky Harris.
Yeah, exactly. And I go back to Husky Harris and do a Nexus reformation. But I think the thing with Ambrose is going to continue on for a little while, going to TLC, maybe Royal Rumble. That's stretching a little bit, but we'll see. I could see that. And then after that, what do you do with Wyatt? I don't know. Like we said before, we've been talking about this for months. What were they going to do with after the Cena feud? Jericho, we didn't see coming.
After Jericho, he got buried, and then he just randomly came back against Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, we didn't see that, obviously, because they were still together at the point that we were talking about it, so you never really know. But, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Wyatt going into 2015. But aside from that, a majority of Raw last night was all about building the main event for Survivor Series, Team Cena and Team Authority. But kind of on the topic of WrestleMania, in one of our future shows, we'll be talking about WrestleMania 31 and kind of pitching a card for the show many months in advance and see if we can get it right. But at the end of last night's show, we had Team Cena all come together. Erick Rowan, Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, and Ryback, who obviously finally joined the team. Predictable but well done segment. It's a pretty cool brawl to close the show. But Ryback, which I thought was interesting because they had Ryback and Triple H come across in a stare-off. They had a stare down for a little while. Of course, John Cena put Triple H through the table at near the turnbuckle, whatever. And Ryback and Triple H had that stare down. They did the same thing on SmackDown last week. So, Mike, I'll ask you first. Do you think a Ryback Triple H match could be plausible for this year's WrestleMania?
Yeah, I actually think. I think you tweeted it last night. You said Ryback versus Triple H, book it. And I favorited it, retweeted it. I think that would be a great matchup. I'm glad to see, knock on wood, I'm glad to see WWE kind of, because I'm a big fan of Ryback. I think, he has the look. He does have the personality. He needs to work on his mic skills a little bit, but I think he's a total package. And I think that they dropped the ball with him his first time around, especially losing WrestleMania to Mark Henry was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say. So I think, a WrestleMania matchup and a win against Triple H would do wonders for his career. I think it would be great. So hopefully, like I said, knock on wood, they don't drop the ball with the face Ryback this time. But I think definitely something that they're teasing. They're keeping that door open. Like you said, on SmackDown, they kind of teased it, and they teased it last night. It's kind of like he's kind of replaced Roman Reigns. You would have thought that Roman Reigns would have faced Triple H. They had that stare down a few times. But, if things go how they're saying they'll go, Reigns will get Lesnar, and I think Ryback for Triple H definitely be a great matchup.
You bring up a great point in the Roman Reigns and Triple H stare down, because I was thinking about this the other day, that we had that stare down between Roman Reigns and Triple H on many of occasions, and it never led to anything. Would it have had Roman Reigns not gotten injured? Maybe. I'm not really sure. We can never really tell. But just because they had the stare down doesn't mean it's going to happen, so I'm just kind of predicting here. I'm just kind of a dream booking, I guess, fantasy booking here. So, I mean, is it possible? Maybe, if they can continue to build up Ryback. I would love to see it for one thing, because I think it's something new for Triple H. It would beat the hell out of seeing Triple H and Batista face each other again. I don't really want to see them face each other again. We've seen that before. Same thing with John Cena and Triple H. We've seen it a million times. I don't want to see that. So Ryback and Triple H would at least be something new. But it's funny to think that Ryback was on the roster beating, Bo Dallas like a month ago, and now he's like in the main event of Raw, SmackDown, Survivor Series, whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they continue to do right by the Ryback character and building him up as a threat to Triple H and maybe do that at WrestleMania. I'm not really sure, but I, for one, would like to see it. RJ, I want to get your thoughts on it. You're not the biggest Ryback fan, but could you see that happening at WrestleMania 31?
Before Lesnar and Reigns was predicted, I would easily say I could see Reigns versus Triple H, but I think it's pretty much cemented that everyone believes and probably will be Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania, so I think it'd be something new for the big guy, but...
The big guy.
The big guy, exactly. I don't know, I just like... something about Ryback, I just don't think, like... His wrestling ability just doesn't really connect with me. Like, last night's Cesaro match, I feel like Cesaro was, like, kind of carrying him throughout the match, and then at the end, when he starts, like, doing all his moves, like, all the faces do, all their, like, 5 moves of doom, pretty much, what they all have. So once he started doing that, like, Cesaro was pretty much in control the whole match until the end, obviously, but hopefully, I think his mic skills have been better than they used to be. I like the big guy whole persona. I think it's kind of funny last night when Cena was like, "What's up, big man?" He goes, "It's the big guy." I thought it was really funny. So
he's got a personality now,
exactly.
Which is good,
so hopefully they just book him right. I think the first time they kind of flopped on it. Him beating a bunch of jobbers all the time kind of like made me disinterested in the whole character to begin with. So I could definitely see him versus Triple H at WrestleMania. I think this year has, if all the guys come back, they have a bunch of matches they can make, a bunch of fancy bookings. I could see so many matches I'm just thinking of right now.
Yeah, we talked about a couple months ago that we could see Rock versus Triple H at WrestleMania. And that might still happen. We never know. But if Rock doesn't come back and that match does not happen, I could see Ryback Triple H at WrestleMania.
I could see. I'm just thinking of the matches right now. I can see so many.
Triple H and Roman, Ryback and Roman. Yeah, like I said before,
I would say Triple H and Ryback and Roman. I think if it's gonna be him, if anyone's beating Lesnar, it better be Reigns.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I can't see anyone else being the guy to face Lesnar at WrestleMania. Considering, I mean, assuming he holds that title till WrestleMania, which I think he will and he should. Yeah, he better. Even though he's not on TV right now, that's another issue for another day. I don't blame him. But I also think that we could see Ryback and Triple H at WrestleMania if they can continue to do right by Ryback, and they don't have him lose every single pay-per-view match he's involved in, like he was in 2012, 2013, whatever. But kind of want to go out of that for a second, out of the Raw news, and kind of going into the news that broke last week that you asked a question about on this week's hashtag SCSM, because I know you were. Let's talk about this real quick before we get to our Survivor Series predictions. You made a prediction, RJ, that did ultimately come true. This is a show, too. If you're going to make a statement, you got to make it here. Because remember, it was the night after WrestleMania, or 2 days after WrestleMania. We said, we better wrap the show up before someone dies. Ultimate Warrior passes away that same night. Something else happened that we got right or whatever. Now, last week, if I could include a soundbite right here, I would. But you said, I will not be content until Hornswoggle, El Torito, and Great Khali are gone. 3 days later, the Great Khali has been released from WWE.
I was so happy when I saw it.
I'll get your thoughts on it right now. What do you think?
I was like looking on Bleacher Report, and it was like Great Khali released, and I just was like fist pumped.
Yes.
Like you say all the time, like you want to see any guy lose their job, but freaking God, Khali.
He was a waste.
He's such a waste, and he has bigger and better things. He can go act more. Like he's the big giant. He just wasn't he just never was the best wrestler. He just couldn't walk or move or do anything.
Never had a good match.
Exactly, never had a good match.
7 years,
and they put him with Batista, Undertaker, everyone, and just his size. Like he is like a spectacle. I guess he's a freaking giant, but he just couldn't wrestle. The whole point of it is to be able to wrestle, and he couldn't. At least Big Show can move and stuff like that. So I'm happy Great Khali's gone. Hopefully in a couple days we'll see Hornswoggle and El Torito get the boot.
Hopefully. One can only hope. But I think the only reason why they kept him around as long as he did, because he lost relevance after like 2008. This guy's been irrelevant since. And he's been a big draw in the Indian market, obviously. He's been the only Indian wrestler they've had except for Jinder Mahal, and he was never anything big, obviously. So that's probably why, but the guy was never on TV, though. Like, he was never... Great Khali was never on Raw.
He was never a threat, either.
He was never a threat,
he never won anything, did he?
He won the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, I was like, oh, God, please don't remind me. But, aside from that, he really hasn't played a role on the roster at all. Should he have? No. I mean, the guy can hardly even walk to the ring. It was sad seeing him even walk down there because the guy had so many health issues. So I feel for him. And like we said before, like I said before, I don't want to see anyone out of the job, but like you said, the guy can get an acting job. I think he works as a cop in India or something like that, so he'll be fine. But, Mike, I want to get your thoughts on the Great Khali's release from WWE.
Well, all right. So, admittedly, my biggest wrestling years as a wrestling fan, I got big into it around 1996 until about 2002. And I stopped watching until about 2011, 2012, right after Punk's. So I honestly, when Khali had his world title run and stuff like that, I never really was watching. So I can't really talk about what he's done for the company and stuff like that. I do know that seeing him recently, I mean, I don't know who could have a good match with him. Like you said, the thing that kept him employed was like I've read, was his drawing ability in India. Kurt Angle is the best wrestler in the world, arguably. I don't think Kurt Angle could even have a 2-star match with the Great Khali.
Yeah.
So, especially, I've read stuff that he was making, upper 6 figures, and that's just a waste of money. I understand that he draws in India, but, it's kind of like enough's enough. There's no really return on their investment. So I think it's a good decision. I don't think anybody, especially RJ, is going to miss him. And good riddance, basically.
Yeah, I see what I definitely agree, and I see what you're saying in that. The guy, you made a perfect point at a time when they're laying everyone off, and they got these network budgets and all this other stuff. They're laying, I lost track of how many people they've released this year. And Great Khali was still on the roster. Like, he's up there with, like, David Otunga, Hornswoggle, like, guys that, like, why are you even contracted?
But like you said, the thing about Great Khali is he was making big numbers.
Yeah, he was.
He was making $1 million over, at least,
That's
I'm pretty sure.
Big waste
For
of
a
money.
guy that barely was on TV and is a terrible wrestler, waste of money.
It never did anything.
Exactly. Either. God, I hate Great Khali. I'm sorry, he's gone.
So he is gone. Great Khali is gone from WWE. Obviously, RJ could not be any happier, and he's doing the yes chant as we speak right now. But for Monday Night Raw last night, there really wasn't much else, I think, aside from the building of Team Authority and Team Cena. I'm kind of looking down right now, and that was pretty much it.
Nothing major.
Nah, not really. But before we get into the Survivor Series predictions, I do want to talk about this a little bit. TNA after week after week after week talking about we're going to have a TV deal, nothing. We're going to have a TV deal, nothing. They have yet to announce anything, so this is all still rumor.
I saw this yesterday, too.
That they might get a TV deal with Destination America or something like Distinct America, something like that.
It was like a Discovery Channel, like, partner or some stupid shit. Like, why would even bother?
But it's available in only 60 or 50 million homes in America as opposed to the 98 million homes in America for Spike TV. So they're losing maybe half of their audience at most.
I think there's more than that. Spike's on cable.
No, yeah, I don't have this. I don't think we have this channel here. I don't know.
No chance we have.
I've never heard of it before.
I've never heard it in my life. I doubt we have it. It's just like, why bother getting a new TV deal with a thing that no one like? You won't even see advertisements for it because it's not like it's like a big channel. At least, Spike didn't do it too much. At least Spike is on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You hate Spike, but I don't mind Spike. I don't mind Spike. I like Spike. Spike's good. Raw used to be on Spike, and I like Raw on Spike.
They just don't do anything. This is not a good working relationship. I'd rather have, as much as I dislike Spike.
I feel like you put more blame on Spike than you do on TNA.
Oh no, TNA's fault too. But
exactly,
I mean,
you're like they never promote TNA because how do you know that TNA's not paying for them to promote them?
No, TNA.
When Raw used to be on Spike, they used to always promote Raw.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're gonna promote whatever's gonna sell. You're not gonna. TNA was probably one of their least they're like reality shows and like the Bar Rescue. I love Bar Rescue. That show is so funny. But all like their like Pawn Star shows and all like the reality shows they have. They promote those because they're the ones that get the viewers. I don't think people really go in on Wednesday nights at 8 to 10 and watch TNA.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest nail in the coffin for TNA is their lack of product awareness because no one knows what the hell TNA is. It's ridiculous. But, even when Hulk Hogan, I don't want to blame Hulk Hogan, but it is kind of his fault. And that when he was a part of the company for 3 or 4 years, the guy did nothing to promote the company. That's the only reason why they brought him in was to promote the company, get their name out there, and he would go on to all these different shows promoting WWE, wearing his WWE merch. Like, why even have this guy around? You know what I mean? It didn't make any sense to me. But, it looks like they're off Spike TV. It looks like their final episode on Spike will be airing tomorrow, November 19th. And then they're done. Hardcore match.
Bram vs. Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, God.
I giggled like a schoolgirl when I saw that. Bram, I'll challenge you next week, Tommy Dreamer, for a no DQ match. I'm like,
I bet you $1 million if you go back to every taping, back to the New York tapings, you'll see a hardcore match every single show since then. It's ridiculous how many hardcore matches they do. They're trying to relive this ECW crap, and I like the ECW as much as the next guy, but to relive it every single week with guys like Dreamer and Diva, let it fucking go, you know what I mean? I don't care anymore, but going back to the deal, though, it looks like if they are going to sign a deal, it's going to be with them. Like I said before, not yet confirmed. But I think the biggest concern is that they're going to be off TV for at the very least 6 weeks. They're not going to be airing any best of episodes or anything like that in early December like they were planning to. Nothing Thanksgiving week or anything like that. So basically they're in the dark for at least a month and a half. So I'm very concerned.
For any company.
And it's ridiculous too because I hear people saying like, oh, what network wouldn't want a steady million viewers that TNA does? But if you think about it, they're not pulling in those million viewers if they move to that new network because no one gets the frickin' network. No one knows what it is, exactly. You know what I mean? So they need to announce something within the next 24 hours as we talk right now, as we speak, in that if they don't promote anything at the final episode of Impact next week, how are casual fans going to know that they're moving to a new network? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Like, let's say TNA goes off the air tomorrow, no announcement of where they're going. Like, how is anyone supposed to know when to tune in? Like, they tune in the next week? Oh, but I guess it's not on this week. Next week? Okay. Next week? Did they go out of business? You know what I mean?
You guess you go online, but I don't know. I just think it's not worth going, like, no one's going to pay extra to get Destiny, whatever the hell it's called.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
So it's not, I don't know. I just don't see, as a business standpoint, I don't see, just stick with Spike. If Spike says hit the bricks, then you kind of screwed on that point.
If they want to settle for a lower deal than what they had before, just go with it. Just
exactly. Go with something that like it's given, not this Destiny America crap, whatever the hell it's called. It just seems like a big failure. It's like WWE when they were on like WG in America.
Oh,
for
Superstars. Yeah, no one
got the channel, and no one cared. Like I'm not gonna get the channel. Even if like Superstars was on, like I didn't even know what the channel was, and I wasn't that interested to look for it.
Yeah.
So it is
Impact almost ended up on WGN America too. It's funny they bring that up.
Could be even worse.
Yeah, exactly. But so Mike, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this. I don't know if you're a TNA fan or not, but even if you aren't, I'm gonna get your thoughts on them potentially moving to a network that hardly anyone gets.
Yeah, I'll watch it here and there from surfing through channels and stuff like that. But I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head when you said that whoever, I don't know who makes these decisions, but their product awareness is god awful. You know, where the WWE will promote something, you know, until you're sick and tired of it. TNA is like the complete opposite. Like I remember it might have been the end of the summer or beginning of the fall when they moved to Wednesdays, and it took people like 2 or 3 weeks to figure out that they moved to Wednesdays. They did nothing to really promote that they were moving from Thursdays to Wednesdays. So it's just little things like that is the reason that they're not a very good company. I'm not saying that if those things changed that they would be competing with WWE by any means. But I've watched I've watched TNA, and the product is actually not bad. They have good wrestlers. They have pretty decent matches. Nothing that will blow your mind away, but entertaining stuff. You can just tell though the people that are making decisions within the company, just small things like promoting, a change of Thursday to Wednesday, just screwing up something like that. It's like elementary stuff, and they find a way to mess it up somehow. But that is disappointing. Yeah, I had no idea that they were going to this channel that basically nobody gets. It's frustrating because I do try and watch. I will watch it on occasion, and I doubt that I even have that channel. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of anything for this Lucha Underground that started a couple weeks ago. But it actually is pretty entertaining. It's very different. But that's another thing that I don't have the LRA network. I can't watch it if I want to. I have to resort to clips on YouTube. And it's frustrating as a fan of professional wrestling because the Lucha Underground actually is something that I would watch, weekly, and I'm not able to, so.
Yeah, I think Lucha Underground, the difference between, it all depends, because like with Ring of Honor, I tried to watch that as consistently as I can, but like the websites that I try to go find it on, they don't upload it in time and stuff like that. It's a disaster to go find, so That's why I don't watch ROH. But Lucha Underground is so easy to get to, and we talked about it here on the show before. And I just go to one website, one click away. It's a 45-minute show. You take away the commercials. Like you said, I think it's a very fun promotion. They aired a commercial for it actually last night during Raw. They did, yeah, which was very surprising. But I thought it was great, though. I think I watched the promotion. I've seen the last 3 episodes since it started. They got a lot of good talent. John Morrison's over there. Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah, it's different, too. They have, I think I read that they, instead of, doing like digital video or whatever, they use film, so it looks different.
Yep.
And it's entertaining. It's not bad.
That's exactly it. I think that's what the biggest problem with TNA is that everything production-wise, it's all the same to WWE. I mean, obviously it's not as high class, but they don't do anything different from WWE to establish an identity for themselves. You know what I mean?
Six-side ring.
Well, they did that for a while, then they got rid of it, and then they brought it back, but it's too late by that point. But Lucha Underground, like you said, it has more of a reality show feel to it, but not completely. Like, they have some good storylines, the way they film it, and the crowd and whatever. I really like it. It's a breath of fresh air, so I'm going to keep on tuning in. I think it's a great promotion, but they have a lot of great talent. I think Del Rio said he might be headed there once 2015 comes around. Rey Mysterio, too, once he's out of WWE, so they got a lot of big stars in the horizon. For the first 3 episodes, though, I think they're doing pretty well. They have a lot of great talent, like I said before, Johnny Mundo, John Morrison, Prince Puma. They have a lot of Tough Enough guys. They had Eva Lise from Tough Enough, who was there for a while, so I think Lucha Underground, if you're not watching it already, it's only 45 minutes, so check out the first episode or one of the recent episodes. A lot of awesome wrestling, but on that note, we'll transition to Survivor Series predictions. On the pre-show, we've got Fandango making his return to the WWE with his new valet, drumroll please, Rosa Mendez. Rosa Mendez joining Fandango, okay. And we've also got BNB on the Bad News Barrett on the panel to discuss, so I might watch for Bad News Barrett. I don't know about Fandango, though. But RJ, before we get into our official Survivor Series predictions, I'm trying to drag it out here because we only have 5 matches on the card here. But Fandango, are you expecting anything new? Are you looking forward to the return of Fandango by any chance? Absolutely not.
It's just like, how much newer can the character be? If he still has the dancing gimmick, I don't see any difference. I guess it's a breath of fresh air because we haven't seen him in a while, but I just don't see him in anything too competitive in a storyline standpoint. I think the whole Summer Rae and Layla thing was actually probably one of the better storylines he's had in the last couple of years.
The only storyline.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I don't have really much interest in Fandango.
I think by this point it's just damaged goods because the guy hasn't been on TV for like 3 months or something like that. And I think the biggest problem with Fandango now is that he needs an all-new gimmick overhaul in order to succeed in WWE. Like, the whole dancing thing, I don't think is going to cut it anymore. Like, it was over for, like, a cup of coffee in 2013. Nowadays, no one cares. He's a good wrestler, but the dancer thing doesn't do anything for me personally, so I don't really care. But, Mike, any expectations for Fandango on Sunday?
None really at all. I lost some interest in Fandango. He has a good entrance song, and it was catchy back around WrestleMania 29. But, yeah, I mean, especially in this day and age, quote-unquote, the reality era, I think a character like his maybe could have survived 20 years ago, maybe in 1993, 1994, when it was more cartoonish and it had gimmicks like that that would get over. But I don't see, like you said, he needs a complete character overhaul. The dancing thing is just not working. I don't think it's going to work, especially, the main, demographic for WWE is, males our age, if it's not children. But, males our age or even kids our age, or kids that are men, or how am I talking about? Boys. Doesn't matter the age. Boys in general are not going to get invested in a friggin' dancer, So I just think it's a stupid gimmick, and it's a shame because he actually is a good wrestler, so I've heard. So it is a shame that he kind of got screwed and dealt a bad hand, so to speak.
I don't think adding Rosa Mendez, the diva that has won only 1 match in the last 6 years, has not improved it whatsoever. Adding her to the act, I don't think will improve it whatsoever. I mean, it's going to, nice little entrance, new dance moves maybe, but what's it really going to do for Fandango in the end? Absolutely nothing. So I don't really care about that. Probably won't tune in for that, but like I said before, Bad News Barrett is on the pre-show, so I'm going to check that out. But just added to the card previously before we went live, We've got a multi-diva traditional 5-on-5 elimination tag team matchup at Survivor Series. We've got Team Natalya. We've got Natalya, Alicia Fox, Naomi, and Emma taking on the team of Paige, Cameron, Summer Rae, and Layla. RJ, you first. Your prediction for this matchup?
Team Paige.
Team Paige, really?
Yeah. Why would you have her lose to Team Natalya? Paige was pretty hot going into summer.
She is pretty hot.
The age... Well, I'm talking about like...
No, I know.
Jesus, Graham. And then going the whole AJ thing, kind of like they traded wins, and then she lost again. But then when she came back... In the London, I don't know, they made it look good in the London thing. Is Alicia Fox on Natalya or her team?
Natalya. She's a babyface now,
I
guess.
So whatever. I don't know. I think Paige has a brighter future than Natalya, but Natalya's been a vet for a while. And I hope Paige wins. I don't know. But like, if she loses, it kind of like puts her down even further than she was. So hopefully Paige wins.
I don't think it matters either way because there's no storyline behind it. It's just a random-ass match, you know what I mean? I would love to see Paige win because I think she could benefit from the win more. She could be the sole survivor. But they'll probably have the babyface team go over. I've got Team Natalya here, if only because it's a random match, so they'll probably be like, hey, babyfaces go over. So.
Yeah, it would be good if like they had Emma beat Paige and then Emma and Paige go at it.
That'd be great, yeah. A kind of a reliving of their NXT feud because I think they're a rival match. It's crazy if you go back to that. Seeing how that was, back like 9 months ago?
They're starting to relive, like, the past, like the whole Ryback and Cena shit last night.
Yeah.
They're starting to do that a lot now.
I mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, so I don't know.
They might. Hopefully, they're two great wrestlers. They haven't done anything with Emma since she came up to the main roster, except for pair her with Santino and arrest her for theft of an iPod or something like that. But I've got Team Natalya here. Mike, who do you got going over in this one?
It's interesting because I actually didn't even know about this till today, but what team is Emma on?
Team Emma, or Emma's on the team of Natalya. Babyface team, yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I have a feeling that Paige's team will win, but I wouldn't mind, especially if the rumors are true that AJ is not going to make it to 2015 with the company. Then they got to start. They got to start to build up, more divas, especially the talented, the ones that actually have talent. I think they got to invest a little bit more in them. Like Emma, I know you and me are pretty biased Emma fans, but I've seen her wrestle before. She's talented. She's really good. So I think I could see Paige's team winning, but I would like to see Emma kind of stand out and have a good, maybe be the last one remaining or something like that,
Yeah, that'd be a pleasant surprise if Emma was the last one remaining. Like you said, it came down to Emma and Paige. That'd be great.
I could see it.
So, yeah, I got Team Natalya going over. Hopefully they don't, have Natalya be the last one standing or, God forbid, like Cameron or something like that, you know what I mean? But if it's anyone for Team Paige, it's going to be Paige. But for Team Natalya, give Emma the nod.
Yeah.
And that'd be a little nice. Like Erick Rowan, that was a nice twist. Maybe they do that with the Divas. I don't know. But I got Team Natalya. You've got Team Paige, right? And Mike's got Team Natalya as well. So we move on from there to the other Divas title match, kind of transitioning off of what Mike just said. AJ could be leaving the company by 2015. I don't believe that. They rumored that, what about, like, over the summer? She's like, oh, she's not coming back. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
Came back. Around SummerSlam, she lost the title because she's leaving the company. Stuck around anyway. So, third time's a charm. I don't know. I don't say charm because her leaving would be a bad thing, but I'll believe it when I see it, I think. I don't think it's happening, but I still have AJ going on. Actually, that's a good question. Before I go, you go. RJ, who do you think's going over here?
I think I see a new Divas champion in Nikki Bella. I think they've been pushing the Bellas the whole summer into this point. I think they've improved tremendously since where they were before.
A lot.
I think Nikki Bella actually stood out a lot lately. Her wrestling has been a lot better than it used to be.
Her acting's better than Bree's, though.
I'm not worried about the acting. I think it's wrestling I'm more worried about. I think they could easily have Brie Bella screwing over AJ and her going heel again and have the same like old Bellas again. Because like even though that like she's like her bitch kind of right now. Yeah. Last night AJ did give her a DDT, so that could, which is kind of a heel thing to do. So I don't know. I could so see Nikki Bella win. I think it'd be different. We haven't seen a new Divas champion besides Paige and AJ in the last year exactly.
Caitlyn,
because AJ held it for so long, and then she lost it to Paige. Then Paige held it for a while. Then AJ again. Then Paige, AJ again. So I think they've been pushing Nikki Bella a lot. Supposedly there's a rumor like if you're on Total Divas you can't get the title. Stephanie McMahon came out and said that's not true. So I think, you know what? Why not? Give Nikki Bella the run, because ever since the Bella Twins did have a title, it was always Brie that won the title, which is kind of sad.
No, Nikki won it too for like 6 days.
I think it was Brie every time. Honestly.
No, check it out.
I think it was Brie every time.
I'm telling you.
But more people know about Brie.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's time. You know what? Nikki Bella, why not?
Nikki Bella. I've got Nikki Bella too here. I think it's not because AJ's leaving the company. Well, do you think AJ's leaving?
No.
No, I don't think so either. I think I'll believe it when I see if it happens. I won't be completely surprised. But I still don't see her leaving the company if she drops his title on Sunday. But yeah, I've got Nikki Bella here too because I don't think. I mean, I think the logical prediction here is that Brie costs AJ the matchup, and then AJ retains. You get the Brie versus Nikki Part 2 at TLC, whatever. I could see that happening.
But you also see maybe like she goes to screw over Nikki moves, hits AJ.
Exactly. And then you do Brie versus Nikki for the title at TLC. Exactly, yeah. I don't see AJ retaining her. I've got Nikki. Brie helping AJ retain doesn't make any sense after what happened last night. So either what you just said or her going heel, whatever scenario you just mentioned, I could definitely see happening. So I got new Divas champion on Sunday and Nikki Bella. Mike, what's your prediction for the Divas match on Sunday?
I gotta agree with you guys. As much as I don't want to, I'm a big fan of AJ, but I do think that I think Nikki Bella, I think she's gonna come out on top with not clean. There'll be some sort of shenanigans with Brie. But I do want to see one of the. The Bellas have been with the company, on and off since 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
I know Brie held the title, but has Nikki ever held the title?
Yeah, I just looked it up. Brie had it for 70 days, and Nikki had it for 6 days.
Yeah, so I would like to see, Nikki have it and have a little run with it. Maybe even have one match or 2 matches with Brie. Hopefully, it's better than what they had after SummerSlam, because that was just god awful. But hopefully the rumors with AJ aren't true. Apparently she's not advertised after TLC. Any dates after TLC, so we'll see what happens with that. But hopefully she stays with the company. But I would like to see something change in the Divas division. So I wouldn't be opposed to a Nikki title run.
Agreed. Like RJ said before.
You know what's so funny last night?
What?
When they did have Brie Bella come out as AJ, I thought it was AJ at first.
They looked a lot alike,
So I'm sitting there, like, paying attention. I'm, like, looking at the football game. I look over. I'm like, AJ's coming out. Then I'm like, wait, where the hell's her title? I don't see her title. She's skipping down the ring. I'm like, maybe she left it in the locker room. And then she gets in the ring and sits down and does, like, sitting on the middle rope. I'm like, wait, that's Brie Bella. I'm like, what the hell? I felt like
AJ Brie.
I thought I got like mind screwed over. I was like, that's not AJ, but it looks just like AJ. It was ridiculous. I don't know. I thought it was good humor as it was, but I don't know. I hope AJ doesn't leave because I think she's easily the best diva they have, and
she's the most marketable.
Who doesn't like AJ? Exactly.
She's the most marketable too.
Who doesn't like AJ? So hopefully she doesn't leave. That'd really hurt the Divas division because everyone loves AJ. So. Heel face, whatever the fuck she's doing. I've always loved AJ. I think she's so cute. So hopefully she doesn't leave. And yeah, Nikki Bella.
So like we were saying before, a brief note here, but when I was at that Raw on June 30th when McMahon came out, it was Damian Santos McMahon, where I was sitting all the way. Oh, Mike, you were there too, but you were up in front, so you probably knew before I did. But in the seats that I was sitting in, when I heard the music and I was going crazy and whatever, but it wasn't until he got in the ring that I noticed that it wasn't McMahon. It was Sandow. I didn't know. I'm like, did McMahon come out with a beard or something like that? I can't tell. It was crazy. But Mike, you were at that show too. That was an amazing show.
Yeah, it was great. That was one of the better shows of the year. That was just that was an awesome time.
Yeah, absolutely. Easily one of the best Raws of the year. But like we were saying before, clean sweep from Nikki Bella on Sunday. Up next, WWE Tag Team titles are on the line. Confirmed last night. It's Gold, not Goldust, Gold and Stardust defending against Los Matadores, the Usos, and The Miz and Damian Mizdow. Mike, I'll ask you first. Who do you see walking out of St. Louis on Sunday at Survivor Series with the WWE Tag Team titles?
That's a great question. I don't care much for, let's do process of elimination here. I don't care much for Los Matadores. They're garbage. So I do really like Miz and Mizdow. I honestly, wrestling does not make me laugh, but watching Mizdow do his little shtick, it gets me every time. I don't know why, but just watching him in the mirror with Mizdow and stuff, I sit there and I laugh. It gets me every time. I don't think that they're going to win the titles though. Usos just had it. So I think, if you go process of elimination, 99%, I gotta say that the Dust Brothers win. But I could see Miz and Mizdow winning. If they wanted to, maybe give Mizdow a little bit of a push, but I'm not counting on it. I do think that Golden Stardust come out on top, and hopefully it's a good match.
Anyone but Los Matadors for the most part. Like, I'd be fine with the Usos. I could see why they would put the titles back on them, but I still feel like it's too soon. Miz and Mizdow, I think, are great. They have a good chance of winning on Sunday to further tease tension between the two. But it's hard to predict. There's 4 teams. They got 25% chance of winning it right here, getting it right. If I had to take a guess here, I'd probably go with Golden Stardust. It could really go any way, but I got Golden Stardust here. I'd rather see Miz and Mizdow win, but RJ, who do you see going over here?
I see Miz and Mizdow going over here. I can easily see, coming down to, maybe Stardust, Goldust. It's one of the two. Mizdow's not in the match at all. To this point, it's all Miz, like it's always been.
Yeah.
Someone hits him with, a super kick. Miz falls out of the ring. Mizdow hits a tag, comes in, hits Skull Crusher finale, wins the match. Miz is pissed that they win, but hell, they're the new tag team champions. I've been predicting this. I've been predicting since the Dust Brothers won that they were going to keep winning. I remember I think John said that they were going to lose the Usos at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to win still, so they did retain. But I think that they've kind of been an afterthought towards the Miz and Mizdow. Last night they had a dark entrance. Miz and Mizdow came out on live TV.
Yep.
But I think it would be fresh for the tag team division. I think you could easily do them against the Usos, them against the Dust Brothers again. But I think they still need another tag team, a new tag team that could
Ascension?
I guess, but thing is, they already have 3 heel teams.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. They need another fresh team because Los Matadores just isn't cutting the mustard right now. And what are you going to have them feud with? You're going to have through the Dust Brothers and then the Usos, and what they're going to do with them then.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think you see new tag team champions. Maybe, I hope it's Miz and Mizdow. If not, if they don't win, I could see the Dust Brothers retaining, but I got Miz and Mizdow.
Yeah, I want to see Miz and Mizdow.
Mizdow is so funny. I laugh every time. He's just so
he's great in the role.
The guy just plays his role perfect. It's so funny. I love when he has someone on the ground with a headlock.
He's
up
doing
against
it
the rope, and it's so funny.
Yeah, Mizdow is great. I'm hoping they win gold on Sunday. I don't have my hopes up, but like I said before, I got gold and Stardust going over. Ambrose and Wyatt will go quickly here. I've got Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt. Mike, who do you got?
Bray Wyatt, unfortunately.
I think Ambrose is the guy that can just keep feeding up losses and people still love him. So
yeah.
Wyatt really needs a win. So
desperately.
Ambrose needs to win too. I mean, Ambrose doesn't want a pay-per-view match in how long? I agree with you. Wyatt needs to win as well. You can't bring Wyatt back and have him lose, but it kind of sucks because Ambrose hasn't won in I feel like ages in a pay-per-view. I think
Ambrose. He's a guy that can continue to lose and people will be behind him. Exactly, and he'll be over. Wyatt coming back, who hasn't been as much over as the people they thought he was going to be, he really needs a win after that whole burial that he got from John Cena. I think he really needs a win, and obviously if he wins, I don't care if he wins. I think he needs to win Survivor Series. If they continue TLC, I wouldn't be that big of a deal if he lost to Dean Ambrose. I think that's the thing I had with Cena. I really wanted him to win at WrestleMania. I didn't care if he lost at Extreme Rules and Payback.
Because
no one cares about the shittier pay-per-views.
Yeah.
He lost in the match that really counted. He lost to Jericho Battleground. That's not that big of a deal.
And he won
beat
at
him at
SummerSlam.
So it's not that big of a deal. He needs to beat him at Survivor Series, and it wouldn't mean that much if he lost at TLC, and then people would be happy that Ambrose won.
Exactly. Wyatt won at Royal Rumble. He won at SummerSlam. Screw Cena at WrestleMania.
Oh, my God. I still remember being there. And he hit the FU, and I'm like,
puked.
And I was like, oh, he'll kick out. 1, 2, 3. I'm like,
dun, dun, dun. Oh,
and I just screamed. And
after the amazing first hour of that show, I'm like, God Damn it!
He's had such a good show, and they had to ruin it with freaking Cena winning. But I hope Wyatt wins, so Wyatt.
Got Wyatt all over. And main event here, Team Cena versus Team Authority. Representing Team Cena, of course, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, Big Show, Erick Rowan, and Ryback, the big guy. And representing Team Authority, Seth Rollins, Kane, Mark Henry, Rusev, and Luke Harper. Mike, I'll go to you first. Who do you see going over?
Hey, this is actually a tough one, and usually I complain because WWE is so quote-unquote predictable. But honestly, I could see this going either way. I really, really want to see the Authority, not even from a storyline standpoint, just in general, just be out of power. I think their whole shtick over the past year and probably 15 months now is getting tired and old. So I kind of want to see them be done with. I think the whole evil authority figure in general has been overdone in pro wrestling. I think you've talked about this, Graham, but if they don't, if they have, let's say Ryback and Seth Rollins, the last two, referee gets knocked out and Randy Orton comes out, if they don't do something like that, if Randy Orton doesn't come back on Sunday in his hometown in St. Louis and have a face turn, then it is a huge drop ball by WWE, I think. If he doesn't come back, though, I do see Team Authority somehow winning. If Randy Orton comes back, then I see Team Cena winning. Hopefully that's what happens. And I think the sole survivor will be Ryback. He'll continue his push. So I'll go Team Cena.
It's a double-edged sword because I really want to see Orton back in his hometown, get that major pop, cost Authority the matchup. But I don't think the Authority's going to lose. I got Team Authority here. I want to see Team Cena win. I never thought I would want to see John Cena win a match, but this match I want to see him win. And but if Team Authority wins, I don't know how you bring back the Randy Orton here. You know what I mean? Unless he aligns with the Authority, which should not happen. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I would like to see Sheamus come back, maybe him, and then cost Sheamus is here to join Team Cena, turns on them, joins the Authority, and does that whole shtick. But then Randy Orton doesn't come back. It's hard to say. But I got Team Authority. RJ, what are your thoughts?
All right, before I go on to the prediction, I think it was so weird last night how they kept saying, Big Show's at the hospital, Sheamus is at the hospital, Dolph Ziggler's at the hospital. Big Show and Dolph Ziggler come running out. What do you mean? They just get on a car and drive back? I thought that was so
Sheamus
stupid.
Didn't.
That's so dumb. I think that was such a stupid way to do it, but whatever. I'm praying we get a Randy Orton return. I love Randy Orton. They didn't even need to hear the entrance. In his hometown of St. Louis, if they don't bring him back, they're making a huge mistake. I think you could see something like Seth Rollins, Ryback. Seth Rollins hits him with a curb stomp. Looks like the match is over. Orton comes through the crowd. RKO Seth Rollins. Triple H gets in the ring. Pedigrees Randy Orton. Puts Rollins on top of Ryback. Team Authority wins.
There you go.
I just don't see it. Even though how much I'm not the biggest. I don't really hate the Authority as much as everyone else does. I do think it's kind of annoying every Raw they come out, and that's what it is. Obviously, the Authority figure is getting tired, but I think if they keep it out a little bit longer, then they can keep fresh. Once if they lose, then Triple H is off TV. Then what is that? What happens to Triple H?
What do you do? Who else is in power? They've been saying that question. I don't think they have anyone else in line. So.
Exactly, and then if Triple H is out of power, then he wouldn't be a wrestler anymore. So then he wouldn't be how they bring him back to be a wrestler. So it'd be weird. I think everyone. I think everyone has the Authority going over that they might swerve it and have Cena win. But I think there would have to be a Randy Orton face turn to have that happen. If anything, have him hit the RKO and then just hit Triple H and then Ryback covers him.
Yeah. I can see that.
Or Cena. I could so see Cena covering him.
Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that. What were you going to say, Mike?
I'm interested to see with how protected he is in the company. What they do with Rusev. Does he get pinned or submit? I want to see how he gets eliminated if he gets eliminated.
I could see a DQ or a count out.
Yeah, they probably won't get him to have his
He won't have a pinfall or submission. I just don't. For a guy that's been so protected, you can't just have him lose.
It's not only in singles competition either that he hasn't been pinned or submitted at all. And tag teams, I don't think he's been in a tag team.
Nothing would ice the cake up. A nice AA to put him down.
Yeah.
I would laugh my ass off.
John Cena gives him his first pinfall loss. Please don't book that, but
please book it. I'd laugh.
then I could see Cena and Rusev having a feud down the line, though. I could definitely see that. But, yeah, Team Authority, RJ. You got Team Authority as well. Who do you got going over again, Mike?
I'll go Team Cena.
Team Cena. I want to see Team Cena win. Never thought I would say that, but I want to see Team Cena win. But it's going to be interesting. It's a one-match show on Sunday at Survivor Series. So hopefully that lives up to the hype. The rest of the show I could not care less about, maybe for Ambrose and Wyatt. But the main event is the selling point of this show. What do you think about it?
I think it's going to be a good show. I think, obviously, the main event's been pushed a lot, but I'm pretty interested in all the matches. I think, besides the Natalia and the other one, I could care less.
Marceau was just added, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't care about that. But I'm really interested in the Bella-AJ feud. And the tag team, I think they've had promise. I think they could have a good match. And then
given time, yeah.
Exactly. So stop hating.
No, I'm not hating. I'm not
Stop
saying
hating, Graham.
I'm not saying it's going to be a bad show.
Coming from the person that usually takes the more positives out of anything, it's probably the most negative comment.
No.
That's one of the most negative comments you've ever made.
The show's going to suck. It's going to suck.
That's the most
balls.
negative comment you've ever made about a show I've ever heard out of your mouth. Saying it's a one show and you could care less about the rest.
Okay, I did say
the kid that watches Superstars saying that he could care less what the other matches.
Touche, RJ. I'm still looking forward to it, though. It should be
exactly.
Should be a good show.
I'm ready.
You ready? You ready for Sunday? You ready for Sunday, Mike?
Oh, ready to go. I think. Like I said, I've only been watching for the past 3 years, but I watched, for 5 or 6 years back in the late '90s. But this is one of the few Survivor Series type matches that I'm actually looking forward to. Besides Team WWF versus Team Alliance, which was huge at the time, this actually, they built this up really good, and there's a ton of great talent involved. I think it's going to be a really good match. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go, 40, 45 minutes.
It's unpredictable. I think with a lot of the matches on this show, regardless of what you think about it, I think a lot of the matches on this show can go either way. AJ and Brie, Ambrose and Wyatt, the main event, they're all unpredictable. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all this pans out on Sunday. With it being a Big Four pay-per-view, I'm hoping that it's going to be it's going to capture that feel of being one of those big events that WWE puts on and not just another pay-per-view, you know what I mean?
I don't know why they gave it away for free, but that's what it is.
Yeah, not for us day one subscribers. That's another rant for another day, though. But on that note, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great time, and hopefully we can have you on again in the near future. But before we let you go, though, I want to let you plug your Twitter, Facebook, anything you got going on, and before we send you off.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's always a good time. I feel like I'm always lucky enough to get these go-home shows where we get predictions. I think last time I was on
WrestleMania, right?
We predicted WrestleMania. So, I get Survivor Series, WrestleMania. I get the VIP treatment, I guess. People can follow me at Yoder, YODAIR 21, and Facebook, Michael Yoder, and for the Endicott individuals who are listening, they can find me on the Endicott alumni page on Facebook and stuff like that. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of your semester.
Sounds good, brother.
Thanks.
Like we said before with WrestleMania, you were on the WrestleMania Roundtable show. Hopefully we can bring you back in time for the WrestleMania 31 predictions a couple months from now.
Absolutely. Just let me know. I'll be definitely willing to come on anytime.
Sounds good, brother. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Now on that note, RJ, shameless plugs time. Let's go.
Molly Jeff Cam at WrestleRant at Raymond_Marceau and Ray Marceau on YouTube.
And one Survivor Series that you suggest to the people to watch before Sunday on the WWE Network for free.
Is that a question? You already
Go
know
right
which
ahead.
one I'm going to say. Survivor Series
They
03.
don't.
Survivor Series 03.
I was reviewing that before you got here. It's going to be up on the channel pretty soon.
I just listened to the 02 one.
Yeah, I thought that was a great show.
It was a good show.
It was a good show. 03, though, holds a special spot in your heart, right?
Oh, it's still there.
On that note, though, we'll be back. Not next week, actually. We're on Thanksgiving break. I'll be back next week. I talked to John. I saw him a couple days ago, so we recorded a podcast. It's going to be up for next week's episode. I'll be talking Survivor Series, whatever else. But RJ will be back in 2 weeks here on EC Radio. We go live every Tuesday night, with the exception of next week, obviously. Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central Time at live365.com/stations/ECTV. ECTV, you're messing me up here, RJ. ECTV 73 at WrestleRant. Graham G. Matthews on Facebook. Like I said before, we'll be back next week, or I'll be back next week with Survivor Series talk and much, much more. So thanks again, folks. Have a great week. Enjoy Survivor Series on Sunday, and we'll see you then.